VentureAssist. So this is our procurement software as a service that we're offering to businesses to cut bidding times and streamline the procurement process. So this is our landing page. As you can see, we have our demo link, pricing, and frequently asked questions. If you click on the pricing, you get different pricing models that we have. If you click on the frequently asked questions, now you get the frequently asked questions in an accordion format, so you can just open every question to get the answers. Okay, and then at the bottom we have the Venture Bot. This is essentially the brains and the hearts of VentureAssist. So you can actually do the same process that you would normally do in VentureAssist directly in here in the Venture Bot. So you can verify RFQs, you can ask any questions directly here. And then lastly, we have the WhatsApp support. So we'll get started. So immediately it will take us to the tender process. As you can see, we have different other tools, but we won't focus on that today. We have different tabs in the tender management system. We have our tender analytics, we have the RFQ verification, we have the RFQ analysis, and then we also have the bid pricing calculator, which helps with calculating the prices for a specific RFQ or RFP. We have the BOQ for compliance checks as well, or for doing the bill of quantity calculations. And then we have the compliance there for checking your documentation if everything is compliant. And then we have the technical proposal section, and then we have the procurement email templates. So dive right into the RFQ analysis, because the last time we've done the tender analytics, we've also checked the RFQ verification. So in the RFQ analysis, we'll upload a simple RFQ. So start by just selecting the industry that we're in and filling in the normal information. So the BE level, our experience in the tender business, and then the focus that we want. So we can pick the comprehensive analysis. And already from the previous analysis, it already picked and extracted the text from our document. But for a fresh start, we'll delete that and then we'll upload a new document. So we'll upload that, and then it automatically extracts everything, as you can see. And then we'll click Analyze with Comprehensive Focus. So now what's going to happen is the system will do an analysis of our content or our document. It will check for what is required, suggest what needs to be done, and also give us any risk assessment, any suggestions on how we can actually plan our action of bidding for this particular tender. So let's wait for a bit. And once it's done, it's going to automatically scroll for us. At the bottom, as you can see, it's going to give us the title of the tender, the number itself, the entity itself, the value estimate of this particular tender, and then the prep time and the closing date, as you can see. Also gives us the evaluation criteria of that particular tender. It's a 60 point for functionality, and then for price, it's using that 80 point /20 system, and for BEEs on a 20 point system, and then the local content, it's on a 10 points for Black youth ownership, as you can see. If you go into the requirements, it gives us the key requirements that we need to follow. For example, the CIDB 3EP or hire contractor registration, compulsory site briefing, attendance, installation of transmission line infrastructure, electrical engineering expertise, because that particular RFQ is about engineering, electrical engineering, and then the mandatory documents that we need. As you can see, it gives us all the information that we need. And then at the bottom, we see the BEE requirements. As you can see, the status level that's required, level 102, local content, minimum 51% Black owned, specific requirements, as you can see, EME or QSE classification, Black youth ownership, skill development. And then on the pricing, it gives us the VET rates. It's on a 15% rate, price escalation, the fixed pricing with potential negotiation. So the budget range, as seen before, it gives us between 500 to 750,000 rands, and the payment terms is on a 30 days from invoice notice. If we go into compliance, it'll give us all the compliance checklists that we need to have: the PFMA compliance, the PPFA regulations, the BBE Act verification, the POPIA data protection, OHS Act safety requirements, CIDB registration, limited previous procurement experience on the risk assessment, the technical complexity of electrical installation, the potential supply chain disruptions, the compliance with strict process specifications. So it's giving us risk assessments that we need to consider. If you go into strategy, it will give us the strategic recommendations that it has. It will try and give the percentage to that. If it can't, it will just give an undefined, but it's giving you a list of items that you need to consider in terms of your strategic process to win in that particular bid. And then the key milestone and timeline, as you can see, it also covers the timelines that we need to kind of adhere to, as you can see. And at the bottom is just a feedback quality assurance for our office use, just to try and see how to better the system. So if you're happy with this, you proceed to the bid pricing calculator. So as you can see, it automatically filled in the RFQ content from the previous tab. So all we need to do is just to add the bid title. This is for the 11 kilovolt supply, and you can just give it any name and any description there. You can just give it any normal description. You can even just copy something there just for record keeping. So this is not used for any calculations. The thing that's used for calculations is essentially the RFQ content in here. So if you scroll down, you'll see that nothing else is being added. Only the overhead and the profit margins and the tax or VAT percentage are added, and also gives you hints as you hover on the information icon there, for those that don't know what these mean. And then once you're happy with everything else, that's auto-filled here, so you can edit these if you want. Once you're happy with that, you can then click the suggest pricing items and supply research. But if you want to add everything manually yourself, you can just use this functionality for adding a bid item. But for this purpose, we'll do the automation part, so suggest pricing items and supply research. So now that we've clicked this, it will do a research into what is required and then find the pricings for that particular requirement and then table everything for us. So let's just give it a few more seconds. This normally doesn't take too long. Let's wait a bit and it should be done. Okay, one more second to wait and then it should be good. Okay, now it's doing research supply research now. So once it's done with doing that, it will scroll to the bottom, as you can see, and it found all the items that we need for our calculations. And if we want to see everything in clear detail, you have the option of dragging this to the right and you can see everything in full detail if you want. So this is up to you. So we made it in a way that you can customize it however way you want, and you can just move this to the right, as you can see, and you can see the full details of what's estimated, as you can see. And it already included all the pricings and everything. And once we're happy with this one, we can just click save for technical proposal, and we can add whatever terms and conditions that we want in here. So once we're happy, we can save this. If not, we can just customize it however we want. If we want to have a different cell, for example, the different heights of my rows and my width of my columns, I could do that. If I want to delete an item, I can delete it. If I want to modify, I can modify, as you can see. Okay, once this is good and we're happy with that, we can just jump right into the BOQ. So for the BOQ, I'll use a different document for calculations. So I'll select anything below 3 million for this calculation. So I'll use a grade 3. And for the class of work, I'll select general building. For the project type, I'll select building. And then BOQ, I need to upload a BOQ file that basically just has the bill of quantities, but not the pricings and all of that. So it extracted all the information. So now all I need to do is then click the process BOQ button, and then it will start the process. So let's just give it a few more minutes, if not seconds, and it should be done. This doesn't take too long compared to the other processes like the RFQ verification. So that's why I skipped it, because it takes a little bit of time, because the documents we're trying to verify are very complex. They have tables and everything, so it will take a little bit of time and it's gonna make the video a little bit lengthy. So it will be better to have a separate meeting for that. So let's just wait for it. Once it's done, also, it's gonna scroll to the bottom for us and just give us the results, as you can see. So we can even select the different types of tables that we want. And it found the supplier as well. It found the amounts, the rates, the units, and the quantities. And at the bottom, it gave us the full total. So once we're happy with this, we can just save it as an Excel sheet or as a CSV and export it. Okay, now we'll go to the compliance section. So in the compliance section, as you can see, I can just upload as many documents as I want. So I'll upload my BEE certificate, for example, and then click the analyze compliance. So what this thing does is it's gonna read into my documents. It's gonna find any issues with my documents, and then it will list them to me. And then the documents that I didn't upload, it will tell me what those documents are, so that I know that I need to submit these types of documents. So let's just wait for a bit. So now it's done. As you can see, it verified my BEE certificate. It gave it a green check mark, and it gave it a valid label on the right. And then the other documents that I haven't submitted are labeled as missing, as you can see. Okay. So now we'll go to the technical proposal. Just like before, it automatically copy pasted all the information from that previous document that we uploaded for the RFQ analysis. And then now we can come in and just put in our company information. So I'll just say Mortec Express Pty Ltd, based in Pretoria, Mainland, Maine, level 1 BBEE, primarily focusing on software development work. Here is my website, for example. And then you put in your website details. So this is to help the system to, for example, look into what the company does if I'm stuck and I don't know what else to add in my description. So I can just leave that there and then say with maybe we'll just put in 6 years experience in the software industry. So put that in there, and then if I feel like this is not enough, it needs a little bit of meat, I can just click enhance with AI. So what this will do is it will look into any links that are provided into my company information. It will look for the company itself, and then whatever it can't find, I'll have to manually add those myself. Okay, so we'll just skip that process because it's a little bit longer and it might take this video from being short to being a bit longer. We don't want that at the moment. And then I can add any document, a supporting document. So I'll just add my BEE certificate, for example. So add that in there. And then the custom document template. So this one is for companies that want to have their own technical proposals done on their own documents with their own letterheads and everything. So they can upload that, but we're not going to do that now. And then we have a document format and layout. So I can pick any. So from professional, modern, minimal, academic, formal, government standard, creative, modern, consulting standard. So we'll go with the consulting standard. And then the font selection. So I'll pick Arial. The document style, I'll pick modern business. Page margins, I'll leave them as normal. And then everything else I'll leave as normal. And then we'll click generate technical proposal. So what now will happen is the system will actually look into the company information and the RFQ details that we pasted before. It will then create a more technical proposal document for us. And it's up to us to edit what we need to edit, but it's going to do the majority of the work for us. And the good thing is that the document can be downloaded, so you can even edit it in your local machine, or you can just edit the document directly here on the system. So let's wait for it to generate. This also doesn't take too long, so it should be done in a few seconds, and it will scroll to the bottom for us. Let's just give it a few more seconds. Okay. Just a little longer. Also, it depends on the number of pages the system will be doing, or it will be generating for you. So if it's 5 or less pages, it won't normally take too long. But if it's more than 20 pages, it might take a little bit longer. So let's just wait for it. Okay, anytime now. Also, something worth mentioning is that while it's generating, the generating button has been disabled. So this is to prevent doing the same generation twice and consuming your credits. So this was also done in consideration for our customers. Okay, anytime now. Okay, it's taking a bit of time. I'm assuming it might be creating far more pages than I expected, but we'll give it a few more seconds and it should be done. I think it's definitely doing more than 10 pages, so let's just wait for a bit. Okay, so there it is. So now it's done, as you can see. So once it's done, should have been done, and it should have actually stopped loading the generating text there, but it's fine. So as you can see, it generated the document. So we can see different pages. If we feel like this is not enough, so we can save the document, or we can download it as a Word document, or if we feel like we want to edit this, we can edit it directly in our system, as you can see. So it actually gives us the ability to remove spacing for formatting purposes. We can add anything here, as you can see. We can edit whatever we want to edit in the document. Okay, we'll scroll down. So we can see the document has been edited, has been generated, and we can edit it, modify it, and just, put in what we need to put in, remove what we need to remove. So as you can see, now it finished properly. So before it was still generating other pages. So so now it's done, as you can see. And then now lastly, we'll go into the procurement email. So in the procurement email, the procurement email template generator just helps generate an email for you, so that if you don't know how to generate or organize an email for procurement purposes, the system will help you do that. You can connect it to your email, and you then just ask it for any subject suggestions for your email subject, and it will give you a list of subjects to consider, and you can just edit what you need to edit from those subjects. So as you can see, it's done. So we can just put the RFQ number there, for example, and then your company information, and then you're good to go. And then you can just say, dear procurement team, we as Mortag Express Pty Ltd are pleased to bid for this tender. Maybe this is the best you could do. If you feel like this is not enough, you can click enhance with AI, and it will enhance our information and give us a little bit more formatted information about our email content, and we can just choose that to go with that. So let's just wait for it, and it should be done. So it's enhancing. If you feel like the enhancement is a bit more AI, you can click the humanize button to humanize it. It will humanize it for you to make it sound a little bit more human. So let's just wait for it. Okay, there you go. Once it's done, we'll click complete text and it should be good. Okay, as you can see, it generated our email for us. And then now we just need to edit what we need to edit. Okay, so we can just edit what we need to edit here. And we can also preview the email itself directly from here. If we feel like we're happy with everything, all we need to do now is we need to add the recipients for this email. As you can see, and then we add recipient. And then once we're happy with whoever needs to receive this email, we'll click send email. Now, once it's done sending, it will tell us that the email has been sent and the receiver will get the email. There you go, your email has been sent to one recipient, so the email has been sent successfully.